There is a quiet moment every morning when an egg rests in your hand. And in that simple object is a story millions of years old, a story of life, nourishment, and survival. When you crack it open, you are not just preparing breakfast, you are interacting with biology, with evolution, with a tiny universe of nutrients that has sustained humans long before we had words like cholesterol, metabolism, or longevity. And so the real question is not simply, how many eggs should I eat? But rather, how does my body, at this stage of life, converse with what I give it? There is a quiet, almost sacred moment every morning when an egg rests in your hand, warm from the pan or cool from the shell. And in that small, unassuming object lies a history far older than our kitchens, our hospitals, or our dietary guidelines. If you pause long enough, you can sense that you are holding something that has traveled through time with humanity, a compact vessel of life, designed by nature long before science learned how to measure it. The smooth curve of the shell, the hidden glow of the yolk, the clear fluid of the white. All of it is a silent lesson in biology, patience, and interconnectedness. When you crack that egg, you are not merely preparing a meal. You are participating in a biological exchange that has sustained humans for thousands of years. Your ancestors, who knew nothing of cholesterol charts or blood tests, instinctively understood that this small gift from nature carried strength, nourishment, and vitality. In that instant, your body and the egg begin a conversation, one that involves enzymes, digestion, absorption, and the quiet intelligence of your cells. Yet beneath the science is something more profound, a reminder that you are part of a living system, not separate from. As you watch the egg transform in heat, from liquid to solid, you are witnessing a miniature reflection of your own life. Change, adaptation, and continuity. The proteins unravel and reform, much like your own tissues constantly repairing and renewing themselves. The nutrients inside the yolk, fats, vitamins, and compounds that support the brain, mirror the delicate balance within your own body, where every molecule has a role, every process a purpose. In that single egg is a story of survival, birds nurturing life, humans learning to cultivate, and bodies evolving to use what nature provides. It invites you to slow down, to appreciate that food is not just fuel, but a bridge between the external world and your inner biological universe. The more you contemplate it, the more you realize that even something as ordinary as an egg carries layers of meaning, scientific, historical, and deeply human. As the years pass 60, the human body begins to behave less like a rapidly flowing river and more like a deep, steady current beneath the surface. Processes that once happened automatically and quickly now move with deliberation, as if your physiology has learned patience. Digestion no longer rushes. It takes its time, carefully breaking down what you eat, extracting what it needs, and discarding what it does not. Your muscles, which may have once rebuilt effortlessly after activity, now require clearer signals in the form of adequate protein and rest. Your brain, rich in connections built over decades, depends on steady nourishment to maintain clarity, memory, and emotional balance. In this stage of life, every bite of food carries more weight, not in a burdensome way, but in a meaningful one. Eggs, in this context, become more than just a familiar breakfast item. They function as concentrated packets of biological support. Their high-quality protein provides the amino acids your muscles need to stay strong and functional, helping you rise from a chair, climb stairs, and maintain independence. The fats in the yolk, often misunderstood, play a role in supporting cell membranes, hormone production, and neurological communication, all of which are essential as your body navigates aging. At the same time, the nutrients like choline contribute to brain health, subtly assisting with focus, recall, and mental steadiness. Yet the body, after 60, also becomes more sensitive, more discerning. What once could be consumed without much thought now requires a gentle calibration. Too much of anything, even something beneficial, can create imbalance. Your metabolism may process fats differently. Your cardiovascular system may demand more care, and your digestive system may signal discomfort if overwhelmed. This is where eggs ask for respect rather than indulgence. Not as a restriction, but as an invitation to eat with awareness. Your body is not a mechanical device following rigid instructions. It is an intelligent, adaptive organism shaped by your history, habits, and environment. It responds to rhythm, regular meals, mindful portions, and harmonious combinations of nutrients. Eggs can fit beautifully into this rhythm when approached thoughtfully, complementing vegetables, fiber, and movement rather than standing alone as an isolated solution. Science approaches the egg with measuring tools, microscopes, and blood tests. Yet what it reveals is less a simple verdict and more a layered narrative about how the body truly works. For decades, eggs were placed on trial because of the cholesterol in the yolk, treated almost like a dietary threat rather than a source of nourishment. Researchers carefully tracked heart disease, blood lipids, and metabolic responses, expecting a straightforward answer. But the body refused to be reduced to a single number. What emerged instead was a more nuanced understanding. The cholesterol you eat does not act in isolation. It interacts with your liver, your genetic makeup, your overall diet, and your lifestyle. Within the golden center of the egg lies not just cholesterol, but a constellation of compounds that quietly support life. There are fats that help build and repair cell membranes, allowing your cells to communicate efficiently. There are fat-soluble vitamins that assist vision, immunity, and skin integrity. There is choline, a nutrient deeply involved in brain function, memory formation, and nerve signaling, which many older adults do not get enough of from other foods. From a purely biological perspective, the egg is a compact, efficient package, designed to sustain a developing life. And that same design can sustain aspects of your own physiology. Yet science also teaches humility. It shows that nutrition is rarely black and white. For some individuals, especially those with certain metabolic conditions or genetic predispositions, excessive egg consumption may influence cholesterol levels differently. For others, 1 or 2 eggs a day may have little negative impact and may even contribute positively to muscle maintenance and cognitive health. This variability reminds us that the human body is not a standardized model, but a living, dynamic system shaped by countless internal and external factors. Looking at the egg through this scientific lens encourages curiosity rather than fear. Instead of asking whether eggs are simply good or bad, we begin to ask how they fit within a broader pattern of eating, movement, and well-being. The laboratory data and the lived experience of the body start to meet, suggesting that nourishment is most powerful when understood as part of a complex, interwoven biological tapestry. Imagine your daily plate not as a battlefield of rules, but as a living ecosystem, much like a garden that must be tended with care rather than controlled with force. Every food you place on it interacts with the others, just as sunlight, soil, and water interact to shape a growing plant. Eggs, in this sense, are not meant to stand alone as a hero or a villain, but as one element in a larger, interconnected pattern of nourishment that supports your body after 60. When you place 1 or 2 eggs alongside colorful vegetables, you are creating a quiet, biological harmony. The protein from the eggs helps your body absorb nutrients more effectively, while the fiber from vegetables supports digestion and stabilizes blood sugar. Whole grains, with their slow-release energy, complement the eggs by providing sustained fuel rather than sudden spikes. This is not about perfection. It is about balance, rhythm, and respect for how your body naturally functions at this stage of life. Movement, too, becomes part of this ecosystem. A gentle walk after a meal, stretching in the morning, or simple strength exercises are not separate from what you eat. They complete the nutritional picture. Your muscles, when used regularly, respond better to the protein in eggs, and your circulation carries those nutrients more efficiently throughout your body. In this way, food and activity speak the same language, each enhancing the other rather than competing. Yet beneath this practical perspective lies a deeper truth. Your body is not asking for rigid measurements or strict daily quotas. It is asking for awareness, an attunement to how you feel after eating, how your energy shifts, how your mind responds. Some days your body may welcome 2 eggs with ease. Other days it may signal that 1 is enough. Listening to these subtle cues is as important as any scientific guideline. This approach transforms the question of how many eggs into a broader reflection on how you nourish yourself as a whole. Instead of counting and restricting, you begin to cultivate a relationship with food that is thoughtful, intuitive, and compassionate. Your plate becomes a reflection of your maturity, measured, intentional, and aligned with both scientific understanding and inner wisdom. As we consider the question of eggs after 60, it becomes clear that the issue is less about rigid rules and more about relationship, the subtle dialogue between your body, your choices, and the life you wish to lead. Aging is not a process of loss alone. It is an evolution, a refinement of understanding, of priorities, and of how we care for ourselves. Your nutrition in this light is not merely about sustaining life, but about enhancing the quality of that life, nurturing strength, clarity, and resilience from the inside out. Each meal offers an opportunity to engage with this process. An egg is more than a source of protein or cholesterol. It is a reminder that the body thrives on balance and awareness. When approached thoughtfully, eggs can support muscle preservation, cognitive function, and cellular health, helping to maintain independence and vitality. Yet the benefit does not come from quantity alone. It comes from attunement, noticing how your energy responds, observing how your digestion handles different combinations of foods, and understanding how your mood and focus shift with what you consume. In this way, eating becomes an act of mindfulness, a moment where science and personal experience converge. The broader lesson lies in seeing the body as an adaptive organism, capable of growth and renewal even in later decades. It is not a machine that obeys fixed equations, but a complex system shaped by genetics, habits, environment, and intention. 1 or 2 eggs may fit beautifully into your nutritional ecosystem on one day, while a slightly different combination may suit another. Listening to these signals requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to observe without judgment. It is an invitation to engage with your health as a conversation, rather than a prescription. This perspective transforms simple choices into acts of wisdom. Each decision about what to eat, how to move, and how to rest becomes part of a larger, ongoing process of self-care and understanding. It encourages you to cultivate not only physical well-being, but also confidence in your judgment, resilience in your habits, and a quiet joy in the harmony between body, mind, and the nourishment you choose to give yourself. Eating, then, is not merely survival, but a reflective, intentional practice of living well in the fullness of your years. In this light, the question of eggs becomes less about restriction and more about relationship. You are not merely aging, you are evolving into a more experienced version of yourself, and your nutrition should reflect that maturity. Thoughtful, measured, compassionate, and rooted in both science and self-awareness.